Corbyn faces complaint to Labour over wreath row, but finds the debate hirelingly tiresome. Jeremy Corbyn yesterday refused to apologise to the families of the Munich Massacre victims for joining a ceremony where terror leaders linked to their killings were honoured. Anti-Semitism campaigners last night said they were preparing to file a formal complaint to the Labour Party over his attendance at the memorial. The Labour leader yesterday sighed and rolled his eyes as he faced questions about pictures showing him holding a wreath by the graves of members of Black September, the terror group that massacred 11 Israeli athletes at the 1972 Olympics. In his latest attempt to explain himself, he said there were many people laying many wreaths during the visit to a cemetery in Tunisia where Palestinian martyrs are buried. Mr. Corbyn continued to insist that he had laid a wreath to honor those killed in airstrikes on a Palestinian Liberation Organization base in Tunis in 1985. However, the Daily Mail today presents further evidence that he was by the graves of men accused of being behind the Munich Massacre when he was pictured holding a wreath and in an apparent prayer position. An analysis of the images of Mr. Corbyn proves he was standing right by the grave of Salah Khalif, the Black September founder widely believed to have masterminded the 1972 Munich killings, when he was shown holding a wreath and raising his hands in an apparent Islamic prayer position. He can be seen standing by a distinctive plaque which honors Khalif, his aide Fakhri al-Amari, who has also been linked to the Munich atrocity, and PLO Chief of Security Hayal Abdelhamid. Mr. Corbyn has maintained he was at the cemetery to honor the airstrike victims, but a monument to those who died in 1985 is around 15 yards from where he is pictured. On a visit to Shropshire, Mr. Corbyn dismissed requests for him to apologise that have been made by the families of those killed in the Munich Massacre and his own MPs. He said, "I was there when the wreaths were laid. That's pretty obvious. There were many others there who were witness to that. I witnessed many other people laying many other wreaths. I laid one wreath along with many other people in memory of all those who died in the awful attack in 1985, which I keep repeating and you seem not to understand, was condemned by the whole world. I'm not apologizing for being there at all." The campaign against anti-Semitism said it would file a formal complaint about Mr. Corbyn. A spokesman said, "We are preparing to submit a disciplinary complaint to the Labour Party both over the Daily Mail's revelations about Jeremy Corbyn's homage to the Munich Massacre terrorists, and also over his lies to the public about the matter." Marie van der Zyl, president of the Board of Deputies of British Jews, said, "Jeremy Corbyn has now admitted attending a memorial event for the terrorist murders of unarmed athletes. In 1972, these are unarmed people who were attending the Olympics. They were savagely mutilated and murdered. There is no reason Jeremy Corbyn should not apologize to the widows and to the victims for this terrible massacre. He needs to also recognize that he can't cavort with terrorists." Labour MPs criticized his refusal to apologize. Jess Phillips said, "Being sorry and really trying to understand the hurt would be the kindest path." And Peter Kyle said, "This would have been a good time to show some of that honest, straight-talking politics we were promised." In a fresh attempt to quell the row, Labour last night claimed it is disputed whether Khalif and PLO head of intelligence Tef Bsizo, who is also buried in the cemetery, were behind the Munich massacre.